Alright, in this video we'll be focusing on the focus that was newly introduced into this new update. However, focus is not a new thing. This has been around in the game since 10.0 was created or added into the quests of Warframe. However, there has been some changes and some dramatic changes at that with how this has been updated, and in my opinion it's not the greatest. I do prefer the other way. I do like the new design. It's just not for me. I liked it the other way. It was more simple. The abilities seemed to be better. This is all, it's kind of wonky. I feel like they're trying to make an operator more into a Warframe now than what it should be. You know, the operator was just something you use for quests, and it was, you know, you found that lore of that. You know, the operator is what's controlling everything. The operator is very, very important to this whole world that we're in Warframe. And when you had that out, you had the void energy that came out of your hand, and that's all you had at the time. And then you could get these focus and a specific tree you could unlock, and that with that tree unlocked, you had these specific abilities from that. Some focused on health, some focused on damage, some focused on energy and everything like that. Like the one I have currently, at least what it used to be, is just really energy and some damage with it. It was more the most popular one at that too, from what I've seen with all the games I've played in Warframe or the missions I've done, is everybody wants the energy for their frame. So what they would do is they would always void dash, and with that would cause a bubble of energy if you had that unlocked, and you just had to walk through it with your frame, and it would give you, if you had it fully maxed up, 5 energy over a course of a second, I believe, and then however long the thing lasts, I believe 25 seconds. However, you know, everybody loved that. That was the thing. From what I remember, you wanted that energy thing for your frame, so you could start off with a full bar of energy. Very, very useful. Now they changed that. Now, however, they do have that same ability. You have to cast it in a weird way, a different way, in my opinion, a slower way. And then there's all these other things that they've added to it, where it seems like you can only have 4. I haven't, fully gone through all these focus myself, but that just takes a ton of work to just go through and farm focus and unlock all these different trees and everything like that. I'm not going to do that. That's way too much time. However, I do remember what mine used to be and what it is now. It's completely different. The damage dealing stuff is not what it used to be. You can't go and zap all these people by just doing void dash, or all the enemies. You can't magnetize them closer like you could with this one. So they're all just really different. However, health wise and armor wise, shield wise, they have increased for the operator, which is very useful, especially in the earlier missions, when you would start off with 200 in some of these quests, 200 HP, and then you would just die over and over and over again. Or I believe it might have been 100. Either way, you always died quickly, no matter where you were at with the operator. So it is nice, I guess, to see some of these changes. The base health went from 250 to 350. The base armor went from 25 to 75. And then 350 base shields was added to the operator. This is all nice to help people recover, and if they're new, they can tough it out a little bit longer than usual. It says it right there, I guess. So that's pretty useful with that. I do like that addition, as well as this one too, Vigor and Husk. Vigor is something that you can add to your frame that increases its health by 600. Now it does. It used to just by a little bit. As long as you kept upgrading it. It was like the ones for your frame. I'm forgetting the name, but you put them on the side. It's not a direct mod like it is for frames and weapons. It's an arcane. There it is. It's an arcane, really. And the more you have of it, the more you can upgrade it. And these you can purchase for pretty cheap from the Dude and Cetus. That's all I got for you. The Dude and Cetus. So you can purchase these and keep stacking them, and now they have a greater health addition and armor addition, which is very nice. And plus 200% armor to enduring tides. I'm guessing this is an ability that someone could have, or in the focus. I don't have that, so that's not a problem for me. However, if you have this now, you have added 200% armor, which is very nice. And now some more general operator and focus changes and fixes. There's reduced sleight of view shift when using Void Sling from 0.5 to 0.2 to address reports of nausea. Obviously, this is going to affect their game a lot. Not just people getting annoyed of them using this, but this would make them probably not play the game, or maybe not enjoy the game as much, and henceforth not playing the game at all. So this really helps Warframe itself, the developers, in order to keep people entertained and keep people wanting to come back and play this game without getting nausea all the time they're playing it. A clarified void regions description that applies to squad members, not just operators. That is, I don't know if they've done this with a lot of things, because I know just starting the game, when you're going through all these mods and you're finally getting all these warframes and everything, because you don't understand operators just yet. You're not through all the quests, or that's not your problem. You're not a big quest person, which in this game it's obviously mandatory that you do all these quests, because then you can unlock the operator and all sorts of other things. So however, when you're in these new frames and you're in these new mods that you're seeing, they always have a description underneath them, obviously to describe what the mod does or what the Warframe's abilities are. Some of them were never quite clear to me. I remember when I first started, and I know that is for some other people too. So this just being added to void regions on operators is just a nice step in the right direction. I hope they can do this with more other things to help clear it out for beginner players, coming into the game and looking at all these mods and frames and not knowing what they're really going to do. Fix the power transfer effects. So these are all, looks like they're all going to be effects and sounds. See, there's a sound when transferring, a cooldown, unintended extra cooldown. I don't know if I really noticed that, because I feel like in the quest is when I use the operator the most during this update, and I never really went back to the Warframe that much. I was usually in the operator form, trying to fight that weird new boss. And when I was in the Warframe mode, I never really needed to get the operator mode until I got in there and I was just stuck and I wasn't gonna really go back to the Warframe mode. So that's very nice. These are all changes not related to focus. Not related to focus, so we don't need to pay attention to that. All we care about is focus. That's it. Right now we can go look at the focus over here. Obviously, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos where I've been in the screen, or you just haven't seen it in the game at all, this is a new appearance. Not so dramatically different, just a new color scheme, really, new font it seems, and not really a new design, picture-wise. So if we go and focus, again, these are different. And we go in here, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Everything's different. So this is a popular one that a lot of people have been playing with. A lot of people have played with even before this new update came around. Wellspring, which it's obvious that they kept it in here, but this just creates energy for your frame, which everybody's gonna want. Everybody wants to use the abilities from their frame, if it is a fun frame at that. So everybody wanted this. Everybody wants energy. So this is no go. Of course they're keeping this. This goes with it. It seems like obviously hardened Wellspring. This goes with it and just increases everything. So kind of a mod onto this. That's very different. The other way they had it, it was just a bubble. You couldn't increase the radius or anything about it. All you could do is what this says right now, is increase the amount of energy gained per second with also a longer duration. That's really all you needed. This to me just feels a little bit useless, and not many people are going to stay inside the entire time unless it's a defense mission. But if you're on a capture, survival, or anything like that that's fast paced and you just want that quick energy, you're not going to stay inside to get that ability strength effect. So that, to me, that's pretty useless. Temporal Drag, I thought this was what I had before, in which you would do a void dash and everybody would get shocked, or everybody would come near you, near the operator, which that doesn't do anymore. And I haven't been able to see it in here. No. So all these other ones just creates increases operator regeneration for the energy. This slings enemies or slinging through enemies, excuse me. You have the chance to disarm them. I mean, Loki's 4th ability does that, so if you really need enemies disarmed, use Loki. I don't ever see a problem, unless I'm just being an idiot, that I'm dying specifically to an enemy's weapon. Or who knows, I mean, usually if I'm dying from an enemy's weapon, they're usually one of the bigger enemies, or Eximus, and who knows the way Warframe's done things before, or just video games in general, if this is going to be focused on just pure, small enemies, or this can be focused on any type of enemy except for bosses, obviously. So that, it could be okay. It could be, obviously if you have the focus to do it, do it. But if not, do not make that one of your first things to go for. Now this says it allows abilities to be cast without using energy or shields, but requires 90 seconds to recharge. I don't know how often you're going to be using Wellspring, and especially with this, since you get all these things, and let's say you wanted to do this one, you want to activate it. Well, this one's inactive, so you can't use that anymore. You can't use these abilities without using any energy at all. And for this to be at this specific one, this specific branch, to me is pretty useless, because there's no damage dealing one. And you can do this so many times. I mean, after the 30 seconds is up, do it again, and you're already regenerated. So this is just useless. There's no reason for it. I've done this ability multiple times to see how it is. It's not good. It is not good at all. It's not what any of the other abilities used to be. One of them you would do a void dash, and there would be a shockwave right there, and the other one you could pull people towards you, but it was in a different way. I can't really describe it or remember it at all, but I do remember that the description had it said that you would drag enemies closer to you, but you didn't have to do anything specific like this one is. You had to press here 2, 3, 4, whatever it's on, and then do like a little spark in the air, and then the enemies are supposed to go right towards you, your operator. I've done that before, and unless they're a really low level, nothing. So I mean, again, I could obviously upgrade this, but this just doesn't seem good anymore. This one doesn't seem good anymore, except for Wellspring, which is a bummer, but people are really only going for Wellspring anyways, so I guess that's okay. Obviously you have your other ones. This one's more focused on amps and void beams, so if you want that damage, actually might want to do this one. If you want that damage, do this one, especially for you're trying to get your amps or your arcanes, excuse me. If you're trying to get your arcanes and your arcane farming, obviously you want a good amp, and with that you might want this focus itself, as this just is gonna give you more damage and more critical chance, as this one says, for your amp. So that's really nice, especially when you're doing those type of missions that you're gonna need your amp out a lot. This is all movement speed. I'm not familiar with any of these, so I'm not going to go through them all. Obviously, if you see a difference, it's, you're going to know that. I noticed a difference with the branch that I used all the time, and I've also noticed that the focus I had into this never came back. So even though they give you, or at least they gave me some focus back, this is not at all as much as I had before. I had almost this entire thing filled, and was just going to fill it up just for the fun of it. But now they took it all away, they redid it. They at least could have given you the amount of focus back. I mean, it does seem like it's a pretty excessive amount. There's 600,000. I feel like it was a lot less than that, but I don't know anymore. Focus conversion is still the same. No big deal about that. But yeah, this is all changed, and I mean, I like the design. I like the new look of it. I just don't like the new abilities and the new things they added to this. Alright, and with that dramatic music playing in the background, this is the end of the video and the end of my spiel on all this focus change and all the news that Warframe has come out with and the new hotfix coming out. So if you found this useful, please consider supporting me in any way. It's greatly appreciated. I've seen a ton of support lately, or a ton of views on a video I didn't expect really to get a lot of views, and to see my subscribers going up, my views dramatically going up, even the likes going up. It's really cool to see. So I really do appreciate that. If you have been a viewer of those videos and have been a part of that, I do appreciate that, and I do thank you for that. However, this is the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed. Please hit the playlist. It's going to be to the right of the screen. It's going to be all the Warframe videos I've played so far on this channel, and then to the left is going to be a suggested video of a Warframe video that you probably should click on.